she's not Madeleine McCann.
It's a heartbreaking case that still puzzles investigators around the world. What happened to Madeleine McCann? The 3-year-old disappeared from her family's hotel room while they were on vacation in Portugal nearly 12 years ago. Since then, Kate and Jerry McCann have searched for their daughter. Now, a series about the toddler's disappearance is coming to Netflix.
The entire McCann case has become a phenomenon.
If you made a dozen movies out of this, nobody would believe them.
Before the 10th anniversary of her disappearance, the McCanns reflected on the time they have lost with Madeleine.
So in some ways it feels like it was only a few weeks ago, and other times it's felt really long. But it is a hard marker of time.
But they both say they still believe Madeleine is alive somewhere and won't stop searching for her.
No parent's going to give up on their child unless they know for certain their child's dead, and that we just don't have any evidence. So
my
you've
hope
got to...
of Madeleine being out there is no less than it was almost 10 years ago. I mean, apart from those first 48 hours, nothing actually has changed since then. I mean, I think the difficult thing has always been, how will we find her? You know, because you're relying on the police doing everything they can, and you're relying on somebody with information coming forward.
And her parents say the Netflix series could hinder that ongoing investigation. In a statement, the couple says they declined to participate because they, quote, did not see and still do not see how this program will help the search for Madeleine, and, particularly given there is an active police investigation, could potentially hinder it. They added that their views and preferences are not reflected in the program. Madeleine was last seen sleeping in her bed near her twin siblings at this resort in Praia da Luz, Portugal. Kate and Jerry had put the children to bed and were dining at the resort's tapas restaurant about 50 yards from their room. The 9 adults, the McCanns and their friends, took turns checking on the sleeping children. Jerry was the last to see Madeleine when he checked on her around 9 p.m. When Kate went to check on the kids an hour later, Madeleine was gone. And so began the search for a little girl who seemed to vanish into thin air. Her anguished parents pled with whoever had taken her to bring her back.
Madeleine is a beautiful, bright, funny and caring little girl. She is so special. Please, please do not hurt her. Please don't scare her. Please tell us where to find her. Or put her in a place of safety and let somebody know where she is. We beg you to let Madeleine come home.
But the couple soon faced questions about whether they had anything to do with her disappearance, something they deny. They were labeled suspects in September 2007. At the time, police claimed they believed Madeleine had died in the holiday apartment and that her parents had faked her kidnapping to cover it up. They were removed as suspects in 2008. Over the next decade, police received tips from people saying they had spotted Madeleine, including this girl in Morocco who seemed to bear a striking resemblance.
Is it Madeleine? A photo taken of a little girl in Morocco.
Take a look at this photo snapped by a tourist in Morocco.
Is this little girl seen in Morocco missing Maddie McCann?
But it wasn't her, and the search continued. The McCanns say they struggled with how to give their other children some semblance of a life.
I think before Madeleine was taken, we felt we'd managed to achieve a little perfect nuclear family of 5. You adapt and you have a new normality, and unfortunately for us, our new normality at the minute is a family of 4.
Kate said in 2017 that she still buys Christmas and birthday presents for Madeleine each year to give her if she comes home. What it would be like to see their daughter again is something Kate says she doesn't always allow herself to think about.
I think I try not to go there too often, to be honest. It's one of those real bittersweet kind of thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, I say 10 years is a long time, but ultimately we're a mum and dad, and she's our daughter, and she's got brother and sister, grandparents, and lots of family and friends, you know. So it'd be absolutely fine, you know. It'd be, well, it's beyond words, really. We'll cope with anything, yeah.
A daughter whose disappearance remains one of the biggest unsolved missing persons cases in the world. For For InsideEdition.com, I'm Kaylin Ford.
But their idyllic holiday would soon come to an end. On May 3rd, at around 8:30 p.m., the McCanns left their sleeping children alone in their unlocked apartment and went to meet friends at the resort's tapas bar about 50 yards away.
That was their routine behaviour. They'd been doing it all week.
And the friends would take turns. So every 15 minutes or so, one of the adults from the group would go back and just check on their sleeping children and check that everything was okay.
At 10 p.m., when it was Kate's turn, she found the twins sound asleep. But this bed, Madeleine's bed, was empty.
Kate said to me, "Jane, Madeleine's gone, Madeleine's gone."
Jane Tanner was one of the friends who was dining with the McCanns.
It's the least thing you'd ever think in a million years that, a child is going to be abducted in a safe family resort.
When Tanner heard that Madeleine had disappeared, she says she remembered that earlier in the evening, as she walked near the Ocean Club, she passed a man who had caught her attention.
Well, as I was walking up the road, this man was walking across the top of the road, carrying a small child. The thing that I noticed the most was he was holding her, and I could see her bare feet and the bottom of the pyjamas.
Tanner told the Portuguese police what she had witnessed that night, but investigators didn't appear to take immediate action.
There was quite a laissez-faire attitude. She's wandered off somewhere, she's probably got lost, we'll find her, she'll come back. And that was one of the criticisms, that the police activity didn't really get going until the next day.
Police in Portugal are investigating claims that a 3-year-old British girl has been abducted.
By that time, Madeleine's disappearance was making headlines across the world.
The authorities also told the McCann family that the person carrying the child was most likely the child's father and not someone who abducted Madeleine. Of course, they have no security footage to show us this person and to see who the child was. This is my opinion only, but when you look at the way this person is holding the child, my first instinct is to say that this is not the father. That is not the way a father holds a sleeping child. This is how a father would hold his sleeping child. So if she was telling the truth about what she saw, I don't believe that was the child's father.
There could be a new twist in the case of a British girl missing for more than 15 years. 3-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared in 2007. She was on vacation in Portugal with her family. This Polish woman now claims to be Madeleine. Her name is Julia Faustyna. She's 21. She's been posting on social media with the handle I am Madeleine McCann. Now, she describes her similarities with the missing girl and writes, "I need to know the truth. I need a DNA test, and I need to talk with Madeleine's parents. Help me." Madeleine's parents have agreed to that DNA test, but reps for the young woman admit that her background is messy, which is a quote, apparently. So
it's a tough situation for her. She's obviously tortured by this, and also for the parents. They would love to find their daughter.
It's been a significant story in British media for 15 years, and you can imagine it's been on the minds of the parents every minute of every hour of every day. So we'll see if anything comes from it.
Girl in the middle, she is a Polish woman who thinks she may be Madeleine McCann. A few months ago, her grandmother said something to her. We don't know what she said, but it led her to start researching this. She had never heard of Madeleine McCann. And then looking back, she's like, well, I don't really remember my childhood either. It's very blurry. Whenever she asks her parents about it, they change the subject. They're very weird about it. She's never seen a picture of her mom pregnant with her. She's asked for that, and they laugh, and they're like, "You're crazy." She also said things just don't add up when her parents do tell her information about her childhood. For instance, she has a childhood teacher who told her that she didn't always attend school from the beginning when she was little. She came later on. Her parents say that's not true. She attended from day one, so that doesn't make sense to her. She's also a victim of German pedophile Peter Ney, who she says is Martin Ney's son. Martin Ney is a pedophile and German serial killer who was questioned and suspected of Madeleine's disappearance. They do have similar physical features, their chin, their nose, but mostly the same mark on the right eye, although Julia does address that hers has faded a little bit as she's gotten older. There's also a comparison of Julia and an age-progressed picture of what they thought Madeleine may look like in 2010 at age 7, and those do look very, very similar. The only thing is Julia's 21, Madeleine would be 19 at this point, but she believes her age may have been alive her whole life. The McCanns are not taking any chances, and so as of today, they have agreed to do a DNA test to see if there's any validity to the story. This is going to be insane. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Don't have a birth certificate, I assume.
ID card.
ID card. So have you asked Mum for birth certificate?
Yes, I asked her many times.
Right.
She always changed subject of conversation, so
Cool.
I couldn't communicate with her in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I can believe that she has my birth certificate, but I believe that it's faked. I mean, if I could be Madeleine, it could be fake documents. So
Of course, documents can be faked, of course. I do understand that completely. So there are reports over here in the UK that the McCanns are going to get a DNA test for you. I haven't had official confirmation of that yet. You have to understand, with media in UK, a lot of people talk and talk and talk. So I haven't had, I don't know if you've heard from them at all. Have you heard from the McCanns at all or anything like that at all?
to be honest, I know that the DNA test will be done in a few days.
Good.
But I didn't talk with Kate or Jerry directly.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with them with help of this Persian medium, and with help of a person who works in I can't say where, but it's in very important institution from UK, and they are both confirmed that it's really they really agreed for DNA.
Good. So will the DNA test determine whether your parents are your parents, if that is the case as well, I hope? Because I think it's important to know, we want to know who you are. I think that everybody's concerned here in the UK. We do support you. I know that you've received a lot of hate and criticism, but a lot of people do support you. But I think what we really want to determine is who you are.
This is supposedly Julia's real mum. I'm now 100% she is not Maddie. She is her mum's double.
Okay, guys, so I have a major development in the Madeleine McCann situation. So I've had plenty of people email me and say that this I Am Madeleine McCann backup account on Instagram was fake. And so I've kind of backed off and just watched and tried to figure out. And then this account, which is just I Am Madeleine McCann, no backup on the end, has 1 million followers, shared this story today. That this backup account is fake. Now, this backup account has been sharing this phone number and saying, here's the number, you can text me and call me. Even gives a reasoning for this English number. And I am here to tell you that this account, which is just I Am Madeleine McCann with 1 million followers, said that this backup account is fake and not her. And what's interesting is that I have talked to whoever is running this backup page quite a few times. I also have noticed that this account will go live and it will not show a face. It will just be like the ceiling or something like that. So that makes sense because it's not really Madeleine or Julia. What else is interesting is that this backup account says that Julia's last name is Faustyna, and that's another thing that tipped me off because Julia's last name is Wendell. Now I have so much more to talk about the DNA test and Julia's spokesperson, who is this lady right here, but I'm going to do it on the next video, so make sure to go find it.
A statement from Julia's family found on Reddit. We would like to take a stance on Julia's case, which has spread the internet and media in many countries in recent days. It is obvious to us as a family that Julia is our daughter, granddaughter, sister, niece, cousin and step-niece. We have memories, we have pictures. Julia also has these photos, because she took them from the family home with a birth certificate as well as numerous hospital discharges. We always tried to understand all situations that happened with Julia. Numerous therapies, medicines, psychologists and psychiatrists. Julia had it all guaranteed. She wasn't left alone. Threats to our address from Julia, her lies and manipulations, activity on the internet. We've seen it all and we've tried to prevent it, to explain, we've asked her to stop. We always tried to help her get back on her feet. Julia has been of age for several years. She has moved out of the house. She refuses treatment, doesn't take medicines regularly. She also did not take advantage of the treatment opportunity at a very good center in Poland, which agreed to accept her. Julia once wanted to be a singer, a model. She always wanted to be popular. What is happening now has her 1 million followers. We're afraid Julia will carry the inevitable. The internet won't forget and it's obvious that Julia isn't Maddie. We are devastated at this current situation. At the same time, we would like to announce that we will not do interviews, publish any photos, comment on articles. Please direct any questions or concerns to the spokesperson of the Provincial Police Command in Wrocław who is conducting proceedings in the case. The Julia W. family.